So I quit a 7-figure business in order to start this new thing, which personally I believe is the best business in 2026 and beyond. And the reason that I did that is not because my old business wasn't working. I made a couple $1,000,000 with it. And obviously sometimes we're better than others. But the real reason is because I'm really focused on more long-term things as I'm a little older now. I started business when I was 18. I'm 26 right now. And I'm focused on building something that can actually move towards an exit. Something that can actually be sold down the line. And what business that I'm in right now is probably something that you're gonna say like, man, that sounds pretty fucking boring. Because it's called a life insurance sales agency. And all that it is basically the Wolf of Wall Street without the illegal shit, without the escorts. We got a couple girls, okay? But we don't gotta pay for them. And with the money. And basically, instead of stocks, we're selling life insurance. And it's currently Sunday, and I'm here with one of my agents, one of my most motivated agents, working. Because I decided to work and he wanted to come. So, welcome to. And by the way, if you want to come and work, okay, it's not even work for me, it's more work with me, okay? Obviously, you're gonna be under me, but we're more so gonna be partners than anything else. Because in this business, how it works is that you are your own business when you work with me, when you work under me, when you work for me, okay? Because everybody's contracted 1099, and basically what that means is you essentially have your own business, right? You get paid on purely commission. So it's basically in between starting a real business, like a real brand or whatever, which obviously makes you have to like focus on all these different things, learn all these different skills like marketing, the legal side of things, accounting, hiring, whatever. It's in between that and it's in between a regular sales job where you get paid only on commission and you can get a very high thing, but like you're still very dependent on the company's marketing for your growth. You're still got to clock in essentially, and you're still not really building your own thing. We're in between of that. So we don't got to deal with the downside of this business, but we do have the upsides of this business. We don't have the downsides of this business because basically what you do is you start as someone who learns how to sell. So basically, you learn how to sell life insurance. Now, it's very simple. All that you do is you go and you hop on a computer, you get a list of leads, and you put it into the dialing system. You click a button, it rips through, it dials automatically, and you just wait, okay, maybe 10 seconds or whatever until someone answers. And then from there on, you run through a script, word for word, you either close or you don't close, and from there on, you go to the next one. And the average commission that you get, right, this is the learn how to sell part. It's gonna get way more interesting in part 2 and part 3 of this business, okay? But this is more the sales rep. You start out as more of a sales rep, okay? And then from there on, you learn how to do that. You start making 10, 20K a month profit. Very, very normal to do that in this industry, okay? Because obviously if your commissions are high and you close one deal every other day or one deal every day, you're gonna be rocking and rolling, okay? So from there, you learn how to sell, okay? And then after that, you start teaching how to sell, okay? After you're making 10, 20K a month, you start teaching how to sell because all your buddies are gonna be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing now, right? And by the way, as you sell, you get a high ticket upfront commission, okay? Because what is your commission? Your commission is 12 times the monthly amount of a life insurance policy. And the monthly amount might on average be like $80, right? And then you get a big percentage, like 80% off that yearly amount, okay? So anyways, upfronted. So essentially from there, guys, you have residuals as well. So you get about 2 to 5% of residuals on every contract that you close, and that gets paid out over the months as the year ends, okay? And so from there on, you start building a book of business with residuals on it. So you build true passive income over time. And obviously, you're signing people up for life insurance, but after that, there's not much to do, okay? And then from there, stage 2, as I said, is you're gonna start cranking, making 10, 20, 30K a month. And look, obviously we have an office, but you can also do this virtually. But let's be honest, guys, being in an office is way better. It's a different energy, guys. Like we've been here Sunday, we went to church actually to see a guy called Myron Golden speak. Great speech, and you always got to stay learning, right? But that's what we were doing this morning, and then me and one agent went to the office to crank out a bunch of work. And so anyways, you just feel productive in an office, right? So I really recommend being in an office. And obviously if you work with us, you can fly out here, you can stay with the other reps. Sometimes we'll even be able to provide some place to stay with the other reps, and you can come to the office right here and work with me side by fucking side, right? Work side by side with people who've made millions, side by side with people who are actively making 40K a month as personal producers. That being said though, that's stage 2. You start teaching how to, like once you get that lifestyle of stage 1, obviously now you're making money. Now you're flying everywhere in business class. Now you're doing all these crazy things. So you're in stage 2 where people are gonna ask you, dude, what the fuck are you doing now? Or your buddies are gonna ask you, bro, you're traveling and stuff like that. What are you up to? And you're gonna start to get people that want to join what you do, want to join your team, right? So your goal ultimately is to not even sell anymore, because your goal is to only teach how to sell. And then we're gonna go in stage 3 after that, right? To teach how to sell. And with that, you're gonna be teaching others how to sell just like you did, okay? And you're gonna run that team and you're gonna manage that team. And for that, you're gonna get a manager's fee over their earnings. So you're gonna get a percentage of how much they earn, right? So you're here and then your team is under you and you get a percentage of whatever they earn, okay? And so from there, you're gonna start getting semi-passive income, right? Because obviously you're still managing them, but you're spending a lot less time to be able to get the same amount of money, right? Because you're in a higher position of leverage. A lot of people, guys, in business, they look for this passive income bullshit right off the start. And for passive income, you need something called leverage, okay? And to get leverage, you need either money or something like connections or, a position that gives you leverage, right? And most people starting out don't have fucking any leverage at all. So you're not in a position to get passive income. Everybody wants that because everybody's a lazy little piece of shit, right? And I'll tell you right off the bat, if you're a lazy and you want passive income and that's what you want right off the bat, forget about this business because it's going to be fucking hard. It's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, okay? It's going to be hard, but that's because the reward is so big in this business. And I sincerely have done many different businesses, and I think this is, if you're someone who likes communication, who's seen The Wolf of Wall Street, and besides the obvious no-nos, was like, holy shit, this shit is fucking dope, right? Then this is the perfect business for you. Financially, but also in terms of what you get to do every day, because you can literally get to go to an office or get to be in your virtual office, right? Meaning a Zoom room where your agents are in, and literally just dial and sell with your guys, teach how to sell, and you become a family. Right? You lead a tribe and you lead them to success, and you're incentivized to do so because it's very financially rewarding for you. And from there on, okay, you're going to be able to build that team, and then you get in stage 3, okay? And stage 3 is going to be teaching others how to lead, okay? And so that's where you are teaching others how to do what you just did, right? Which is first sell, right? That's stage 2. But then now you're teaching others how to teach how to sell. Okay, meaning you're creating leaders. And that's where you're really, I always shy away from the word passive income, but you will get into like almost full passive income. Like it's gonna be as passive as an investment, right? It's gonna be as passive as a real estate investment or whatever, because it's gonna be minimal management in this stage, because these people are gonna be very self-sufficient, right? They might call you up once a week to ask a few questions, ask them advice, and be on their way. Because these people, obviously entrepreneurs, have a team of 5, 10, 50 people under them, whatever, that they're leading, they're managing, and you're just steering them in the right direction. And so at some point, you're more so just focused on this, and this is, obviously the stages that I'm going through as we speak, going into this third stage right now. Transparently, this is a business that I'm still relatively new in, but obviously I came into this with a lot of business experience already. And if you're wondering, the previous business that I was in, it was selling courses, selling programs, and coaching and stuff like that, right? And that's great, and I love that business too, okay? But even with that, you're getting short-term cash, but it's all based on you. It's not decentralized, and therefore you cannot really sell it to private equity. And if you're gonna put your focus somewhere, why not put it in a place where you're gonna have a big old check waiting for you at the end of it, right? And so that's the reason that I shifted into this, together with, honestly, look, besides just that exit value, this also is an extremely high cash flow business. It does take a little longer to cash flow because obviously you need to build a team and you need to train that team up. It's not going to be instant, right? It's going to take, for you as a personal producer, you can make 10K your first month, right? Like that's going to go, and you can make 10, 20 but to get to like 100, 200K a month, those kinds of numbers, it's going to take real time. And transparently. I'm not there yet myself, right? We're growing step by step. I want to be very honest with you, and that's the style of this channel. And I just want to give you my lessons along the way. And the lesson one of me getting into this business has been, why I shifted into this. And by the way, guys, for me, it wasn't easy to go into this business because I'm not fucking American. I don't know if you can hear that by my accent, which may be minimal at this point, but I'm originally from the Netherlands. I was living in Dubai for a couple of years, and now I'm pretty much moving to America. Not officially yet, but playing it by ear. And I had to get a bunch of American documents, American papers in order to get me licensed as a professional life insurance agency, right? My LLC and everything like that. But we can help you out with that process if you're outside the US as well. And we have Canadians as well. We can obviously work through that. It's just a little more effort. But that being said, okay, this is the first thing that I wanted to share with you, like the lesson of why I actually went into this. And, the bigger thing is that, guys, personally, I've always been someone who's very impatient, someone who's very, I want everything now, right? But there is something to be said for that at some points, right? Like, being impatient, wanting results now. But at the same time, if you look back, sometimes, if you, instead of asking yourself, how can I make $1 million this year? Maybe ask yourself, how can I make 20 million over the next 3 years, right? Or 20 million over the next 5 years, whatever. Because usually we really overestimate what we can do in a year, and we really underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And that's not my quote, but it is very fucking true. And that's something that I've really started sinking into myself more and learning myself more of hey, Boyd, stop being you need it now. Okay, listen, I know you want to get to hundreds of thousands a month. And by the way, guys, for your context, with my last business, I was doing, years ago, 100 grand a month. And then obviously I did a couple mil, and, I kind of fell off within that business at some point, and I kind of was looking for what to do, right? And this came on my path at some point, and I was like, damn. And it was very short ago, maybe 6-9 months ago. And I was like, well, this is the right business for me, right? It fits everything, right? Because this sales is, essentially self-development, communication, confidence, those kinds of things, which is, something that I think if you can make money in something where you're developing yourself at the same time, and obviously that's anything, but to a high degree because it's communication and stuff, then that's a gold mine, right? Because you're hitting two of the most important things. And, you can be someone who's, a nerd and okay, you make a lot of money in crypto or this, but you can't even speak, right? You can't even communicate with people. You're not even a confident person. You only can be if you're wearing your Richard Mille, or if you're, known by everyone, or if you're this or that, dropping a bunch of cash, but you're not actually a person with weight when they speak with a presence of who you are. I think that's fucking worthless, to be honest with you. And sales teaches you to have weight, to have presence, to be a leader. A lot of my agents, the guy that, is here with me right now, he'll tell you, this was the most personal, transforming experience that he's gone through so far. He's just a completely different person. So many people in my company now, they tell me I'm just a completely different person besides the money that I'm making, right? We got people making 6K profit their first month. We got people making even 10K profit. Those are people with a little bit of sales experience, transparently, making 10K profit in the first month. We got people, getting to even, 6-7K profit per month, like this guy, right? After 3 months, right? But yeah, look, he just wasn't the best communicator off the bat. It just wasn't a natural talent, but he's a hard worker and he stuck to it, and he's getting better every day still. That being said though, the personal growth these people are all telling me about is magnificent. It's these people are listen, beforehand, I wasn't able to I was in an airplane and someone had something out loud, and I wouldn't be able to say hey, you mind putting some headphones in, right? Hey, you want to put some headphones in? Something like that, just in a normal way, not overly nice, not overly shitty, but in a normal, authoritative manner. And now they're able to do those kinds of things. Now they're able to stand up for themselves. And if you get that as a fucking side benefit, beside building a business and making money, and then the third thing is you're leaving a tremendous impact, not only on, because look, guys, I know life insurance, it's fucking boring. It sounds boring, right? And honestly, there's more exciting things probably to do. But at the end of the day, you are doing something really, really ethical, because we get messages every day from clients, right? My agents and stuff like that, recordings, whatnot, from, hey, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for helping protect my family. Instead of doing a sales industry where you're selling cars, and at the end of the day, you're just trying to sell someone a more expensive car because you're going to make more money. Look, even if you're not doing that, it's kind of you're not on the same page, you're not on the same team as the person, right? Whereas here, you truly are, right? And that's what I love about this, because it's a sales industry that's, not only super cool, not only with a lot of benefits, but it's very ethical at the same time, and you're truly helping people, right? So that, and then the other side of that, so this is the actual sales side, but the other side of that is the leader side, where you're building an agency, right? And you're literally able to transform people's lives, right? And to say to them like, hey, yeah, I can help you. I can train you up. We can get you going. And then, you know, you don't have to pay me, but obviously I'm gonna make money if you make money. So I'm incentivized to help you win forever, right? Whereas these other, you know, programs, usually it's like, okay, you pay one time and then the guy's not as motivated after 2 months to coach you, to coach whatever, because he's not incentivized long term. Like, this is the coolest structure, right? I was always looking for something like this, where you could actually get someone in a mentorship kind of style program and get paid once they get paid, but that never worked out in the past. And this is working out because obviously, right, the incentives are aligned. I'm aligned to help you. I'm aligned to make you a better person, make you more confident, make you a better communicator, and then more disciplined leader, right? And then ultimately bring you to that stage 3 where you're making a lot of money and I'm making a lot of money because I helped you so well. So anyways, that being said, not to ramble on, guys, these are legitimately the reasons that I went into this business. And for me personally, I feel like, hey, if this is so good for me, if I'm so happy that I found this, then it's my fucking mission, then it's my obligation to bring that out to the people that I'm able to reach with this video, even if it's not so many. It's my obligation to put an effort into that. And obviously I have a selfish interest with that as well, because if people work with me, great, right? But, and that's not to say that everybody, right? Because like, you know, I got to select the people that I think have the most potential so I can pour into them like that guy, okay? But that being said, guys, you know, if you feel like this resonates with you, then you can check out the description of this video. There's going to be a job explanation video that shows you how you can get in touch and the details about this gig. And, you know, this office right here, Scottsdale, Arizona, you can come out here. We're going to open another one probably in Miami in 2026. That could be an option, and you can also do this virtual. That being said, I really think that it's best for people to be proximity's power, guys. Be in the office. It's just way better for you. That being said, though, I wish you success in whatever endeavor you decide to pursue. I wanted to share this with you and the lessons of why I went from more short-term thinking, transparently, to longer-term thinking, bigger plays and a slower burn, but a bigger burn in the end of it. I'll see you in the next one.